community speak out. There are more of us together than apart. It is the power of love in its rawest form.
Join the fight for LGBTQ acceptance. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
Our oceans are home to most of the life on Earth. But today, plastic pollution is killing our oceans. 33 billion pounds of plastic enter the oceans every year. That's roughly equivalent to dumping 2 garbage trucks full of plastic into the oceans every minute. But you can help. Oceana is campaigning to stop plastic pollution at the source by calling on companies to reduce their plastic waste and offer plastic-free and reusable alternatives. Take action today at oceana.org/join.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM at HD1 San Francisco. An Odyssey station.
Good morning, Bay Area.
It's time to wake up. It's 5, and we're live.
Oh, is this thing on? I don't care. I want him to hear.
This is the Pregame Show, your early morning shot of sports on 95.7 The Game. Come on!
Oh, boy. Well, that's not good for Draymond Green. Suspended. Game 3. Western Conference Playoffs, round 1. First home game of this postseason at Chase Center. Draymond Green will not be suited up for the Golden State Warriors as he is suspended. 888-957-9570. Dub Nation. I need to hear from you this morning. This is the Pregame Show. Welcome in. I am Joe Spadoni. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, your thoughts. Bombshell laid out. I was like, let's see, what are we going to talk about tomorrow? I didn't think he was going to get suspended. You saw the Shams Charania tweet. Shams via The Athletic tweeting out like, it doesn't look like he's going to get suspended. I was like, okay, well, if Shams says it, then it's probably not going to happen. Well, it happened. And here's what the NBA Communications Office from New York, 645 Fifth Avenue had to say. April 18th, 2023, Golden State Warriors forward Draymond Green has been suspended 1 game without pay for stepping on the chest of Sacramento Kings center Domantas Sabonis. It was announced today by Joe Dumars, Executive Vice President, Head of Basketball Operations. The suspension was based in part on Green's history of unsportsmanlike acts. Green's actions were in response to Sabonis grabbing and holding Green's ankle after falling to the floor. Green received a flagrant 2 and was ejected, and Sabonis assessed a technical foul. Green will serve a suspension April 20th when the Warriors host the Kings for Game 3 of the series at Chase Center. So no Draymond Green. And you know what? This might not be the popular opinion right now. There's a lot of anger. There's a lot of vitriol. What the hell, NBA? You're taking away from what has already been a really fun series, albeit a series that the Kings have looked like the better team in the first 2 games. They lead 2-0 and are looking to go 3-0 now in this series. It's going to be difficult for the Warriors, but this might not be the popular opinion right now, but I'm going to say it anyways because it needs to be said. Draymond Green has no one to blame but himself for this. Don't point the fingers at the league office. Don't point the fingers at everyone else. You did this to yourself. And no, I don't believe it was the stomp. It was what happened after the stomp took place. And just look at what the NBA and Joe Dumars said. He said it right there. The suspension was based in part on Green's history of unsportsmanlike acts. Acts. That's very vague. Unsportsmanlike acts. That tells me it wasn't the stomp that put it over the top. It was going over to the bench area, egging on the fans, the Sacramento fans, throwing expletives at them, all while Adam Silver is on the opposite side of the court with a great view of all this. There's a video online if you can find it. I'll tweet it out at Spadoni_Joe. Follow me on Twitter there. And by the way, you can find the show on Twitch and YouTube. We are up and streaming. If you'd like to chime in, 888-957-9570, 888-957-9570. I would love your calls on this. Comcast Business text line. Love y'all. Hit me up there. But Adam Silver was in the building. The commissioner of the NBA had a perfect view of all this. And there's a video where you just see slowly panning from Draymond yelling and getting into it with Kings fans, throwing expletives all around, F-bombs, all this sort of stuff. And then just slowly pan up on the opposite side. You see Adam Silver talking to one of his league office buddies, and they're just whispering, watching the whole situation unfold. And I was like, yeah, man, you can't do that and not get some sort of repercussions. The stomp on its surface, although bad, I don't think warranted his whole suspension. It was what happened after that. And if they're going to be citing the past, then absolutely. Now, is that fair or not? Should we start using past precedent? I don't know. It's a slippery slope, but it only seems to be happening to one guy in the last 10 years. There's only been one guy in the NBA to be suspended multiple games in the playoffs in the last decade. That guy's Draymond Green. He seems to be the only one to be getting into all this trouble, more so than anyone else. And I don't think the league is out to get just him. I think Draymond puts himself in these situations. And he puts Warriors fans in a spot where they feel like they have to defend him because he's their guy. But I'm telling you, Dub Nation, he has brought this upon himself. And I know it sucks that he is not going to be playing Game 3. And I don't think you're out of that game by any stretch of the imagination. You guys play like a championship team when you're at home. On the road, it's another story. But at home, I expect better shooting from a lot of these guys. It's more comfortable. It's a must-win game. If you lose this, then you are done. So, must-win game situation without your best defensive player, other than Andrew Wiggins, is going to be tough. But I think the Warriors can still win this game somehow, some way. It'll be very difficult. This has 150 to 146 written all over it, one way or the other. Defenses are going to be gassed throughout. Although I was saying that at the start of the series, and it looks like this Kings defense is showing me that I'm dead wrong about them. Looked like they were not great all season long, but apparently they have shifted into this Steph Curry stopper, if you will. He's not been shooting very well. But no Draymond Green for Game 3. I want to know your thoughts. 888-957-9570, 888-957-9570, 916, Holy Lessons, Django, DVDV, all y'all on the YouTube chat. Appreciate you chiming in. DVDV, morning, Joe, and everyone. I'm outraged and disgusted by that suspension. NBA rigging it for the Kings. It's unacceptable. When has the NBA ever rigged anything for the Sacramento Kings? I'm not here for the conspiracy theory that the league is out to get the Golden State Warriors. That just doesn't make sense from a financial standpoint. Wanting a market like Sacramento over Golden State, which has dominated the last decade and has proved that they are ratings darlings. Yeah, I don't think that's the case. I think the case was Draymond Green did something when the commissioner was in the building, and the commissioner saw it and was like, yeah, that's not happening. You're getting suspended. And also, it was based in part of Green's history of unsportsmanlike acts. If you want to argue about that and the merits of, going to someone's past and using that to set a precedent for the future, listen, we can have a conversation about that. All I know is this last 10 years, there's only been one guy, really, that's been the problem. And it's Draymond Green. And I know you want to protect your guy and be there for him. And, it's the league against the Warriors. All sorts. No. It's Draymond versus Draymond. Have some accountability. You pride yourself on the guy that, I can't get baited. I'm the one that baits other people, and then they get the text. I get texts when I want to get texts. He said that. Well, now you get suspended when you want to get suspended. Is that right now, Draymond? Like, you can't go from stomping someone and then going to the bench and inciting an opposing team's crowd. Do we forget what happened at Malice at the Palace when that whole situation happened? Now, that's not what happened in Sac. Could have easily seen some of those Kings fans dropping down, though. You don't know what's going to happen. They're all liquored up. Draymond Green is no one to blame but himself. And it's an unfortunate situation because you know what? This has been a really fun series, and I would like to see Draymond be playing in Game 3. Because I think we would like to see the Warriors at their best. And the Warriors are at their best when Draymond Green is in the lineup. He's a DPOY. He affects the offense, the defense in multiple ways. And it's going to be even more so of an onus on Kevon freaking Looney. They're only big now. You're going to have to see Jonathan Kuminga minutes, more of those. JaMychal Green, potentially more of those. So the onus is now put on everyone else because of Draymond Green's selfish act. 888-957-9570, 888-957-9570. Chris Biggs, because I'm a Laker fan, give Draymond a break. Salty Spadoni. Everyone makes a mistake. We ride with Dre here. I'm not saying you can't ride with the guy, but try to be objective about this. He put himself in a horrible situation to where he is now suspended. Fall over, Sabonis. Don't step on him. Just fall on top of him and none of this happens. They go to the booth. Oh, look, he fell on top of him. Oh, Sabonis grabbed his leg. Oh, well, you know what? Sabonis was in the wrong there. Draymond's fine. Then none of this happens. Why do we keep giving this guy a pass around here? In a must-win game, he is now going to be out. I remember a couple of those must-win games when the Cleveland Cavaliers were down 3-1 in a culmination of fouls and techs and flagrants finally boiled over, and LeBron baited Draymond again, and Draymond fell for it. There has been a history with this guy. They're not out to get him. He's brought this upon himself. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills here. When the Warriors need him most, more often than not, in these must-win series, yeah, Draymond Green's been there for a lot of these 4 rings. I get all that. But the ones that have cost them, 2016 NBA Finals, and potentially now in the first round against the Sacramento Kings. And that sucks. That really sucks. Here's Charles Barkley and his thoughts on NBA TNT last night talking about it.
I was surprised for the simple fact that he got tossed last night. I don't have any proof. I think his histrionics running around the gym, doing this with the commissioner in the building, I think that's why they I think that's personally why he got suspended.
That could be part of it, just like, you know, his history of unsportsmanlike
acts. He did the same thing because he did the same thing last time, running around the gym when he got tossed in Memphis, running around doing that.
That's when he took Brandon Clark.
Yeah. So I think that's, like I say, I'm still surprised. But what really bothers me about this whole thing, to be honest with you, we're taken away from the fact that the Sacramento Kings are just kicking their ass. That's what bothers me. For the first time in a long time, the Sacramento Kings have had a fabulous season and a terrific team. And we're going to be talking about this. I don't know what's going to happen in the game the next couple nights, but what we're taking away from is the great job. We just interviewed the most clutch player in the NBA. He's going to win Coach of the Year.
De'Aaron Fox and Mike Brown.
And Mike Brown. And we're talking about this junk.
I agree with Charles there. It sucks that this is the topic that we have to talk about today. Although selfishly, this is great content for the radio side, but hey, we're the home of the Golden State Warriors. I want the Warriors to be at their best when they're going up against the Kings. They're the defending champions. I want it to feel clean, quote unquote, if they were to lose to the Kings in the first round. I think the Kings would want to feel that way too. But at the same time, it is what it is. You stomped a guy in his chest, yelled at fans, expletives everywhere with the commissioner in the building. In hindsight, how do we not think he was going to get suspended? And especially, I think what Warriors fans, and let me know at 888-957-9570, I think what we're most upset about, if you're a Warriors fan, is that last line of that first paragraph of that NBA communications paragraph when they were releasing the statement on the Draymond Green suspension. Quote, the suspension was based in part on Green's history of unsportsmanlike acts. I think that is what is most triggering to Warriors fans because they felt like, why are you using past precedents? Why are you using past stuff with his antics in the finals in 2016? Or who was it, Brandon Clark or for the Memphis Grizzlies last year getting ejected out of that game? Or Steven Adams, the kick to the nuts, all that sort of stuff. Hell, even the punch on Jordan Poole, it just said history of unsportsmanlike acts. It didn't say in the playoffs only. Like that, I understand if that is the triggering one for you, because that is setting a precedent in the future that, hey, the league can always use whatever that has happened in your past on the court against you. But it only seems, I keep coming back to this point, no one else is having this problem in the league except for Draymond. And I do not think Adam Silver and Joe Dumars are out to get him. They're trying to set a standard in the league that no one is above. The shield, if you will. And I know it's not the shield in the NBA, but you get what I'm saying. And Adam Silver, 1,000% being in that crowd in Sacramento, I think is the reason why he is suspended today. You just got to have more awareness than that if you're Draymond Green. Going over to the bench like that with the commissioner in the building, it was a recipe for disaster. More on the YouTube chat, chiming in and mentioning the Domantas Sabonis leak right after that. So right after the suspension was announced, you got the news from the Kings. Sabonis questionable for Game 3 with a sternum contusion. So basically a chest contusion, sternum right at the base of the chest there, connects both sides, the rib cage. Questionable. It just seems like that was just the cherry on top for a lot of Warriors fans too. It's like, okay. And now the Kings with that stomp from Draymond to Sabonis. Now we're going to milk that now. That's what I think a lot of Warriors fans are feeling. And let me know, 888-957-9570. It's just been a whirlwind of a first round, and it potentially culminating with this Draymond Green suspension has really put it over the top. And it felt like, and we were kind of teasing about it yesterday, but maybe we were right. The code red was called in.
Did you order the code red? You're damn right I did!
That was Adam Silver and Joe Dumars. It's just pretty wild. Draymond Green suspended, if you're just joining us, Game 3, Round 1, first game at Chase Center. And don't forget, we'll have all that coverage right here, pre and post, 95.7 The Game. And be sure you're listening today. We're going to be giving away tickets for Game 4, Sam. I believe that's right. Game 4, first round, Chase Center. This Sunday, we're going to be giving away tickets for that game. Be sure you're listening. Morning Roast starting at 7:30. Tune in around 7:30. Be listening to the Morning Roast. We're going to be giving away tickets for Game 4. Draymond Green will be playing in that game. We hope. Nothing coming out there, but Game 3 out. Game 4, he should be playing, and we are giving away tickets for that. Be sure to be tuning in, again, to the Morning Roast, 7:30, Bonte and Shasky. I'm sure they will have a lot to say. Joe will be joining me for the crossover around 5:45, as he does every Monday through Friday at that time. And the chat was tamed, to be honest. A little bit tamed, a little bit more of like, okay, well, we got our topic tomorrow. I don't think we need to blow all our wad in the chat. I cannot wait for the podcast. What's the podcast title going to be? Does he have titles for his podcast, The Draymond Green Show? What's it going to be? Draymond versus everybody? The upset is if he owns it and says, you know what, I made a mistake. And I'm sure that's what the Warriors would like him to say. But at this point, if Draymond Green, he might just go full heel. He already did the stomp. He already did the Hulk Hogan, Booker T, Scott Hall. I'm just naming random wrestlers now. The stomp right there. He already did that to Sabonis. What's next? Is he even going to post a podcast? Can't wait for that. Shout out the Volume. Doing great work. For more podcasts here at 95.7 The Game, by the way, as I'm looking at the beautiful Sam Lubman, producer extraordinaire for the Morning Roast, and garlic fries and baseball, guys. Giants took another L last night to the Miami Marlins. Season already off to a very, very tough start. Kind of falling off the rails here a little bit, but Sam Lubman and Joe Shasky, check out that podcast. Odyssey, download that app. You can find it there. Also, the 415ers podcast with Evan Giddings, Mark Grandy for all your 49ers coverage. And I thought I was going to get into a little bit of the Niners and Giants today. I thought I was. It's kind of an off day. Be able to touch on all the different stuff. Apparently, Brock Purdy, he might not even play next year. That's what he said in an article with Yahoo Sports. I was going to get into that. Sam Darnold talk. Baldy, Brian Baldinger, our 95.7 The Game NFL insider, was doing some stuff for the station. Said Sam Darnold could potentially be QB1. So I was ready to talk about that. Talk about the Giants' struggles. Logan Webb, you seem to have paid the guy, but he's not producing like an ace. Struggling. Gabe Kapler, is he even going to make it through the season? I thought this was all on the board. And then late last night, it's like, oh, Draymond suspended. Well, there goes the whole shows for all day right here on 95.7 The Game. And I want to hear from you. Callers, I know you're out there just getting off work, just getting ready for work. 888-957-9570. Comcast Business text line, 888-957-9570. How are we feeling? Dub Nation, Kings fans, everyone listening. Was this the good move? Was this a right move from the NBA? I think Draymond Green brought it upon himself and they forced Adam Silver's hand. Adam Silver had no choice when he was in that crowd and seeing all that happening and taking place. He had to make the call to Joe Dumars, however they do it, them talking to each other, is just sends a text. It had to be done. If Adam Silver wasn't there, maybe it's not. Maybe it's not. But it was, and it is, and Draymond Green will not be playing Game 3 tomorrow at Chase Center. Again, we'll have all that coverage right here on 95.7 The Game, starting with Warriors Live. What time is that? Do we know, Sam, what time that game is tomorrow? Oh, he's screening a call right now. Ooh, we might get a call here at 5:20 on the pregame show. 888-957-9570, 888-957-9570 is the number. Warriors Kings Game 3, 7 o'clock. So Warriors Live at 6 with John Dickinson. He'll have that pregame for you before tossing it over to the voice of the Golden State Warriors, the great Tim Roy at Warriors Vox. He's the best in the business. And we're hoping that the Warriors can turn this around in that Game 3. Shooting just has not been there from beyond the arc for Steph or any Warrior, to be honest, outside of maybe Klay Thompson in that last game. Can Stephen Curry be a top 10 player? Can he please, will the real Stephen Curry please stand up? Will he? Shout out Eminem. Do we need him courtside? Already got 50 Cent. And who was it last game for Vivek Ranadive at the Kings game? Floyd? I know E40 is going to be back in the building. They better be bumping E40 throughout that entire game. Be extra salty. And Dub Nation, I think they're going to be extra fired up. If not more so than they already were with this suspension. It's going to be a very, very tense crowd. Let's be safe, everyone. Let's be sure to be safe. Let's not do anything violent. We don't want that. Ooh, I think we got a caller here. Caesar, 680, talking about Draymond Green. We'll go to him in just a second. Again, the number 888-957-9570, 888-957-9570 is the number. Comcast Business text line is up and running, as well as Twitch and YouTube. You guys are on fire, the chat this morning. Kings fans, Warriors. This is the fastest my chat's ever gone at 5:20 in the morning. That's how fired up these people are. The hardworking people, the pre-gamers. Love y'all. Caesar, 680. You're on 95.7 The Game. What's up, Caesar?
Hey, good morning, man. Yeah, I just wanted to comment on the Draymond Green suspension. I think it's going to hurt us big time on Game 3. We're going to miss his defense. You know, he's our best defensive player. But at the same time, you know, Draymond, I don't know, man, you know, with all his past history, with the finals, you know, when he kicked LeBron and all that, the league is going to hold that against them. You know, they're going to try to set an example for other players not to do that. And I think he really messed up, and it's going to hurt us big time. So, but we'll see. You know, the Sacramento Kings are playing a great basketball, and they're a fast team, and hopefully we can turn things around, you know, because if not, we can go in 4 games, unfortunately.
Totally. Thanks, Caesar, for the call. Appreciate you chiming in there on 95.7 The Game. 888-957-9570 is the number. And yeah, it's going to suck not having him. And I know a lot of people are like, well, they missed him the last 7 minutes of the game and they tied it and they almost won the whole game. I was like, yeah, but they couldn't stop anyone. Like, that's the thing that I think people are missing with Draymond Green missing those last 7 minutes after getting ejected in Game 2. The Warriors couldn't stop a lick on defense. De'Aaron Fox is getting to his spots. Monk, Sabonis. Sabonis is going to try to eat in this game. And I know he's already enemy number 1. Highlighted, circled, underlined, quote, everything. He is enemy number 1 in Chase Center in San Francisco Bay Area. But he's going to try to eat in that game. They're going to try to feed him. Loondog, I think, has been doing a hell of a job on him. But it's going to be up to the Jonathan Kumingas, the Jermichael Greens. All these guys are going to need to step up. Dante DiVincenzo, Gary Payton II, Moses Moody. Hell, is Anthony Lamb going to get some minutes now? I would assume so. Like, these guys are going to need to step up in this absence. Can they do it? They've been able to at home through the regular season. Now, can they do it in the playoffs? We shall see. Schwami is on 95.7 The Game. Schwami from Fremont joining the pregame show. What's up, Schwami?
Thank you very much for taking my call. Swami from Fremont. Just calling about the Draymond Green situation. Let me tell you, NBA right now, in the playoffs, it's all about leadership. It's all about experience. It's all about coaching. Okay, let's talk through this now. Coaching, I honestly feel Mike Brown has outcoached Steve Kerr, number one. Number two, it's about experience. The Warriors have the experience, and they should be able to, pull it out because the Sacramento Kings are a very young team. And finally, third point, the leadership. We need leaders on the Warriors team to help execute, strategy, help execute from all the experiences that we have accumulated over the last 7-8 years. And Draymond Green is the leader on the floor because he is controlling the defense. He's orchestrating the defense. But let me tell you, he has failed. I will give him an F. And what the league did was correct. He should be suspended. This is about basketball. This is about fans. This is about appreciating the fantastic game, especially now. This is going to be one of the best playoff basketball across the league this year because, the talent is distributed and the Warriors had a good chance because there are a lot of young teams and we needed Draymond and Draymond Green has failed and the Warriors should cut him loose after this season because they gave him a chance after Jordan Poole's episode at the beginning of the season, and I think Joe Lacob has had it. Thank you for taking my call.
Thanks, Schwami. Appreciate that. Schwami is spitting hot fire here on the pregame show, and if you'd like to join in the conversation, 888-957-9570, 888-957-9570, as well as the Comcast Business Text line. Mark, SC, I see you guys holding. Please hold through the break. We've got to take a quick one here. We will come on back. More Draymond Green talk. He is suspended for Game 3 of Round 1. That game tomorrow at Chase Center. We'll have all that coverage right here on 95.7 The Game. More Draymond Green suspension talk coming around on the other side right here on the pregame show. Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game. 95.7 The Game. Draymond Green suspended for Game 3 tomorrow at Shea Center. Kings taking on the Warriors. Kings up 2-0 in that series. Must win for Golden State. Go down 3-0 and it's basically night-night. Although, feels like can't put anything past the Golden State Warriors, but at that point, it feels like winning 4 in a row is going to be very, very difficult, even for the defending champion Golden State Warriors. 888-957-9570 is the number if you would like to get involved. That is the call line. That is the text line. And listen, I know there's a lot of you chiming in on the YouTube chat and on Twitch, and I appreciate you. We are up and streaming there. That, listen, they think the league is out to get Draymond. They think the NBA is rigged. They think all this sort of stuff. I'm just here to tell you there's been one guy in the last decade, just one, to get suspended multiple games. Multiple. Is there something going on in my ear real quick? Hey, Sam, do you hear anything real quick on the, as I'm talking to Sam Lovin, producer extraordinaire? Put on some headphones real quick. Is there any background noise? That's just my headset, and I'm hearing things. Spadoni's just hearing things. These are bad headphones. Par for the course here at 95.7 The Game. As I digress, just want to make sure every audio is all good for all y'all listening, wherever you're listening, whether it's download the Odyssey app, whether it's on Twitch, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's the old-fashioned way. And let's get back to the callers. That's what's most important here on the pregame show. When I got callers, and boy, there's days where I just don't have any. Today is just probably going to fill my quota for the rest of the year, if we're being honest. We got Mark in NorCal joining the program. Mark, what's up, man? You're on 95.7 The Game. It's the pregame show.
You know, at some point, people have to realize he's a liability. You're right. He's the only player in the past 10 years that's constantly getting suspended. He's, at this point, I mean, he's a bum. He's a freaking bum. I hope they cut him after they lose this series and get swept, because his dumb A has to pull tricks every time.
Mark, are you a Warriors fan? Are you a Warriors fan, Mark? Sorry, not to cut you off.
Bum.
Are you a Warriors fan, Mark?
What?
You a Warriors fan?
Yeah.
Okay. You're just tired of the act?
Yeah, it just gets old. You know, after 10 years of this. And people say, oh, he orchestrates the defense. What defense? How much are people scoring on this team? It's ridiculous.
Gotcha.
They couldn't defend De La Salle.
There you go. Mark, I appreciate you chiming in there. Mark there from NorCal. His thoughts. Listen, I think that's how a lot of Warriors... This is the game we play with Draymond Green, and we've talked about it all year long, all damn near decade long. It's a give and take with Draymond Green. One day you hate him, and one day you love him because it makes a game-saving and game-winning play. Like, that's just what it is. But sooner or later, like, it's going to reach a boiling point. And if the Kings end up beating the Warriors in the first round after a tremendously disappointing season that, let's be honest, this toxicity of this season started before a game was even played. When Draymond Green punched Jordan Poole. And started with Draymond, and it potentially ending with a Draymond suspension. It's poetic, if you will. SC and SF wants to join the program. SC, what you got, man?
Yes, hey, good morning, Spadoni. How you doing?
What's up, man?
Hey, just want to touch on the Draymond Green subject. Again, Draymond Green doing Draymond things. I believe he did that last week, too, against the Grizzlies. Am I correct or no?
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
Again, I'm a Dub Nation Warrior fan, but like the last caller said, this is getting kind of old. And, you got to pay for your consequences. And like you said, Adam Silver being there probably had to play a part, and this might cost us a series if we have the chance at all. And just want to say a shout out to Dub Nation, and, we'll see what happens. But I think we had a great run, if you think about it, throughout the last years. That's it for me. Have a good day, man.
Thank you, SC. That's SC there, right here on the pregame show. 888-957-9570 is the number if you would like to call or text the Comcast Business text line. Let's rat-a-tat-tat these, as Shasky likes to say. Charlie's out in NYC. Wants to chime in on Draymond Green. What's up, Charlie?
Hey, morning. I just want to throw my 2 cents in. Listen, before I think two callers ago sort of alluded to it. Draymond has failed as a leader for this team, and you can go to the obvious from the punch. I thought there was no way he could stay on this team after he punched Poole before the season started. It boggles my mind why he continuously gets away, why he has such a long leash with this team. Now, listen, like you pointed out, once he went off the court in Game 2, they literally could not stop the Kings from scoring. So when does it become diminished returns? When do the cons outweigh the pros? I thought, and I'm no prophet by any measure, but I thought the Kings, before the series started, would win the first 2. I thought the Warriors would win the next 2, and then it would be a best of 3, and we take it from there. That's all off the board. Now, what do you do tonight or tomorrow night? Do you dust off Jermichael Green? Do you play Kuminga, who is basically unplayable? I mean, for a veteran, a 10-year veteran, Hall of Famer, 4 titles, for him to continuously do stuff like this, to put the team in this position, is just mind-boggling. Why he cannot just grasp the bigger picture. Why I agree with you. He didn't get suspended for the stop. He got suspended for all the nonsense he did on the court. It's just speechless. I mean, we'll have all summer to talk about whether he stays or whatever, all that. But basically, I was going to say he has failed as a leader. He is not a leader for this team.
Gotcha. Thanks, Charlie. That's Charlie in New York City there. And that's a couple calls now about the leadership of Draymond. And listen, for the longest time, I mean, the guy's won 4 titles. He has been the emotional leader. He's been the leader on the court. He's been that guy. But at the start of this season, the way he set the tone by punching his teammate Jordan Poole, you can't tell me that dark cloud has not hung over this entire organization all season long. Whether it's the road record, whether it's just the whole James Wiseman, the young players, all that sort of stuff, all that drama surrounding this season, it all started with that punch. And it's just been a dark cloud hanging throughout this organization. Now, what do they do next year? He has a player option. I don't think he picks it up. I mean, it's all incumbent on what happens, I think, if they go to the NBA Finals. Just talking about the Warriors even making a deep run at this point is just kind of crazy to even wrap your head around. So we'll even wait there. That's so much farther down the road. Or is it? Because if they lose tomorrow, then it's a reality that we have to start talking about the Warriors offseason next week, which is nuts. Thank you, Joe Shasky of the Morning Roast, for dropping off this coffee. This is my morning roast, and boy, do I need it. Joe Shasky to join me for the crossover in just a second. Crossover, excuse me. Part of my French. Real quick, before we get to David and Fremont, Joe wants to chime in. What's up, buddy?
I had a softball game last night.
How'd you
do? We
crushed
played great. Yeah, we were killing them. And so I come walking off the field, and you like check your phone after not seeing anything. 61 missed text messages. And all of a sudden I hear one of my boys go from across the field, Draymond, suspended.
And then it was just everyone.
This is about 8:55,
and you're the sports guy, so everyone's asking, "Is Joe, your thoughts?"
I'm like, I just found out.
It's like the league's out to get him, right, Joe? It's like,
always.
It's never about him. It's
Joey. I'm just not surprised.
I'll
tease it.
Thank you. That's Joe Shasky. He's going to join me next for the crossover. Real quick before we hit the break here, David in Fremont has been very patient. David, what you got? You're on the pregame show.
What's going on, guys? Hey, real quick. Joe, I used to work night shifts, man. I missed that puff pass segment. That was one of my favorites.
Covey, that was fun. The old butcher shop, yep.
That was fun. But you have that one friend. You invite him to parties, and every now and then you're like, "Hey, why are we friends with that guy?"
Yeah,
that's kind of been Draymond this whole season to me, and I'm not surprised he got suspended, but it's going to be tough, man. But I gotta say, I smiled when he stomped on Spadoni because I was pretty pissed that game.
Gotcha.
But
gotcha. That's David in Fremont. We're up against it, David. Thank you for chiming in. Appreciate it. 888-957-9570. If you would like to call or text the Comcast Business text line, More Draymond Green talk on the other side as Joe Shasky, the morning roast, joins me for the crossover next, right here on 95.7 The Game.
Do you have neuropathy? Are you experiencing numbness?
Welcome back. Pregame show, Joe Spadoni, 95.7 The Game. Joe Shasky of the Morning Roast joins me now as he does every Monday through Friday at 5:45 for the Crossover. And Joe, you teased it a little bit there. Draymond Green, if you're just joining us, suspended Game 3, tomorrow's game, first game at Chase Center in this series. No Draymond Green. Sabonis, questionable with a sternum contusion, which was leaked right after the suspension was announced. Just kind of a cherry on top, I think, for Warriors fans there.
Right out of the Vince McMahon playbook. I'm surprised he didn't have a neck roll afterwards, quite honestly. Like, Sabonis, you want to talk about someone whose credibility has lost more than anyone in this? It's Arvydas Sabonis' kid.
Domantas Sabonis.
Whatever the hell his name is.
They call him Domas sometimes.
I don't care.
It's just,
all right.
I always thought he was a little.
No, you're not.
You know, Steiny was on this early Sabonis. He's like, Steiny was like, you like Sabonis? Like, you feel like he's a good player. Like, I see his numbers. I see like he's always up there. So he's like, they're hollow. I was like,
he is a flopping machine. You know those things that are on the side of the freeway, those air things that like wiggle the arms up in the air that blow
the
up.
Car dealership things, the blowing guys.
That's Arvydas Sabonis' kid right there. And I'm not going to call him Domantas.
You're not even using his first name.
He's such a flop. I am so like this thing. Like, we'll get to the Draymond aspect of this. Sabonis, get out of here. Get out of here.
It was pretty solid. Like, his post-game comments is what the thing was. Like, because he went from one thing like that doesn't belong in our league to also saying, like, it's just playoff basketball. I was like, which one is it then? Does it belong in our league or is it just playoff basketball?
He's such a faker. It's unbelievable.
It is. That whole aspect I haven't really touched on.
I got a little boo-boo on my chest.
It was a contusion, Shasky. It's serious.
A contusion.
Yeah, I get MRI.
Joe,
serious.
I get contusions listening to my wife complain about the laundry bills. You know what I mean? Like,
contusion at the softball games. Don't sleep on laying out for those things.
I'm in a lot of trouble. Don't even start me.
You see nice guy Stephen Langford, formerly pregame show host, fractured his shoulder.
How?
Diving out for a ball.
Where?
Center field. He was doing a slow pitch softball league. Dived out and broke it.
Fractured his shoulder?
Fractured his shoulder. He came in with a sling. I was like, what the hell's wrong with you? He's like, yeah, I fractured my shoulder.
What league's he playing in?
So, Walnut Creek, I think.
Oh.
Made the catch, though. That's what all that matters.
Made the catch.
Gutsy.
Well, did he tag the guy back up? You know what I mean?
It might have just been a solo shot. Might have just been a solo shot, all right? We don't know who's on base.
Look, there's so many angles.
So many.
Okay, so look, there's, and I'm going to get into all of them. Right?
Content gold today, by the way.
There's the Draymond angle. There's the resume angle. There's if that particular act alone should have been adjudicated and we shouldn't have looked at the resume. We'll get into all of that. There's another aspect, too. The whining and the politicking and the crying from the Kings management, and the Kings media. Let me just put this right here. I have never seen a fan base with a media that is so low level than what I'm seeing in Sacramento. And here's where I'm going. The crime. He's got to be suspended. Pull your skirt up and be a slightly objective to a little bit. Has there been one Kings reporter, one Kings beat writer, one Kings host who's not slurping the Kings on both knees? I mean, we might need to get plumber's knee pads for the entire crowd. I'm dead serious.
I mean,
it's out of control.
It's their first playoff series in 17 years. They're going to be they're up 2-0.
But don't tell me you're a journalist if every single one of you, look at Draymond Green. Look, there's Adam Silver. How can I smell violence in the air? What the hell? We've got an entire crew of Karens up in Sacramento.
Let's get into that, though. The notion that he was suspended for the stomp is not true. It wasn't the stomp. And you saw the article. You saw the paragraph.
It's the body of work.
It's the body of work. But also, the fact that Adam Silver, and I don't know why we didn't see it and talk about this more yesterday, the fact that Adam Silver was in the crowd and had a perfect, and I mean perfect, I don't know if you've seen the video. I'll tweet it out at Spadoni_Joe for those that haven't seen it. There's someone in the stands who's he's like maybe 8 rows up in the stands, just videotaping the whole thing of Draymond Green going at fans.
Draymond's wrong.
And then he pans up and Adam Silver is chopping up with his buddy, looking at the entire thing.
Steven Spielberg was blown away at that media coverage.
Coppola, George Lucas, all those guys.
You could sit there and try to film that 1,000 times and not nail that as well as that guy did.
It's just, that's what got him suspended. It was that, and then the body of work.
Dog, it was a team of E.T. The finger pointing. It was him. He did it. Colonel Mustard did it in the closet with the gun. I mean, look. Draymond's wrong, all right? No one is here to defend Draymond. I am blown away at the lack of objectivity. I'm supposed to be the fanboy. Joe Shasky, I'm supposed to be the one who's not journalistic, who's not objective. Are you kidding me? Like, seriously.
I think we could all agree that it sucks that he's not going to play in the game, right? It sucks that he's not going to play because we would like both these teams at full strength. That part I understand. But he brought this upon himself, did he not?
Well, that's undeniable.
That's just the ultimate thing, I feel like. We make all these excuses. We put all this sort of stuff. You know, the league is out to get it. The league is rigged. The refs hate the
it's optics as much as anything.
Draymond Green punched his own teammate. Punched his own teammate at the beginning of the season. And you don't think that played a part in it? History of unsportsmanlike acts was the quotes.
Look at Joe.
And you don't think that Adam Silver saw what the sorry, real quick, Joe. You don't think that Adam Silver saw that, by the way, and saw that the Warriors did. Bob Myers, Joe Lacob did nothing.
I'm not surprised.
Nothing to do and to suspend Draymond. And we thought at the time, like, what the hell are you doing? You have to set a tone. You have to set an example. You're not even going to suspend Draymond for a game to start the season and then let that skate by. And it was a dark cloud on the entire season, from start to finish, and now it's poetic that it might end with the suspension, which sucks.
It does suck.
It sucks.
Now, whether it's suspension worthy, we will get into it. But I am a believer, and this is how I live my life. Okay, and Joe, I know you're raising a young boy right now and a young girl who you're going to hopefully be contributing members of society. That's what you're praying, right? You're praying self-sufficient, contributing members of society.
I'm trying to contribute.
The one lesson that I've learned throughout my life, and I'm not here to say that I know everything. I've made so many mistakes. But what I have learned is that life is about credits and demerits, okay? And when you build up equity, you're given certain leeways. When you build up negativity, you've lost the benefit of the doubt. And the other part of this that I would go to is that the majority of big decisions made about your employment in your life, you're not in the room when those decisions are being made. So what I'm saying is that you better get along with people. You better have a good track record because you're not going to be in there to be able to politic and work the room and plead for your case. People are going to make decisions, unless you're running your own small business at a corporate level. They're going to make decisions without you in the room. So someone like Draymond Green, going back to credits and demerits, from a league perspective, from optics, do you have credits? Do you have demerits? Did we treat Fred Warner the same way we treated Vontaze Burfict? Now, these are two extremes. No, we don't.
Because there's precedent set. And then the league and the NFL, to your point, has like certain things in place to say, hey, you know what? You had this certain penalty, you're headhunting, you're suspended this many games. So they had stuff in place already.
Exactly. Yeah. You know, it sucks. I do not think it is suspension worthy what he did right then and there. I thought both guys, Sabonis and him, should have been equal punishment within the frame of that game. He was punished for the 7-8 minutes where they couldn't get a stop, and you diminish the opportunity for the Warriors to win, right? That's clear. They're better with Draymond Green.
Yes, I don't think they couldn't stop a nosebleed in the last 7 minutes.
So now you're obviously punishing him and the teammates, which I get. I understand what the reasoning is. It's hard for me to throw a pity party for Draymond, considering not the act, what he did after the fact. And it's very difficult to defend it. And to me, I think the number one thing, and I saw Bonte kind of put this in there, I believe it wasn't just the riling up of the crowd. I believe it was the words that were there and the fact that Silver was in the room or in the building, if you will. And I think there was a ton of league pressure cranked down on them. And I'm not surprised.
Yes, that's the ultimate
I'm not
thing.
saying it's right. I'm saying I'm not surprised.
There you go. Annie in Petaluma wants to weigh in. She believes Draymond should not be suspended. Annie, you're on the pregame show. What's up?
Yeah, I just had a call because all these people were just saying they're Warriors fans and then talking all this smack on Draymond. It's like he is the Warriors. Like he's an integral part of what we've been. And I totally agree that play should have been a double technical, the end. And all this is a bunch of drama, and it just seems I mean, we don't have to go conspiracy theory, but it just seems like the league is like trying to mess with us again. And we usually respond, so I'm not hanging my head yet. I feel like he'll come back because he always does. Every time you think Draymond is like lost it, he tightens up and he comes back. And so I say all the true fans out there, we got your back, Draymond, and we're still in it. So
I don't know. I don't know how many people have his
Gotcha.
back
Thanks,
right
Andy.
now.
Thanks. Yeah, that's the thing.
I always hear from people during the good times that like, oh, you ride and die with Draymond. Well, here's the dying portion where he's crushing you right now. And I don't know. I'm not sure how everyone's feeling.
Andy just said, too, like, he is the lead. He is the Warriors. Do you want that? Like, I'm sorry. Like, he's shown this year. Is he a true leader of this team?
I don't know.
Is he a true leader of this team right now, Joe Shasky? Has his acts from start to finish of this season shown leadership to you? Has it screamed leadership?
Can we all
Not
agree?
to me.
No, I hear you.
In the past, sure. This season's been a lot different.
Well, I mean, just look at the you have a bunch of impressionable young players on the team and some veteran older players.
That was a big dynamic. The
question I don't have the answer to. What does Steph Curry think? That's the number one thing. What does Steph Curry think? What does the owner think?
Yeah.
You know? I mean, that's really what it boils down to, you know? And we all know that there's a talent tolerance equation in life. If you are the greatest salesman in the world, right, and you're bringing in a ton of money for your company, they're going to look the other way on a lot of your imperfections. As your production starts to taper down a little, there is a talent tolerance equation where they're like, all right, now you're not worth it. I don't know where they're at with that. Like, I still believe that he's worth it. Like, I do. I do believe, because I can't see them winning without him.
That's what it comes down to.
But here we go. Next man up. Like, whose opportunities? Everyone's going to go to Looney, and I hear them. Go straight to Looney. I think Kuminga has an opportunity now. I think Klay Thompson has an opportunity now. I think Dante DiVincenzo has opportunities. Maybe it is Anthony Lamb. I don't know, but, like, the Warriors themselves cannot throw a pity party. They have to adjust, and it's next man up. The one thing, if we're looking for one, it's not a silver lining, but if there's one area where, hey, maybe you lucked out a little, is that you have an extra day of preparation to know exactly what you need to do.
Yes. Also, you're at home. Like, let's just, like, they are a different team for whatever it's worth, and we finally now realize that the road problems during the regular season now are leaking to the playoffs. Hopefully, the home record during the regular season will now also leak into playoffs, because they are a championship team when it comes to home, and Chase Center does have a soul. AJ, I'm not going to be able to get to you. Hang on the line, because Joe Shasky and Bonte Hill hold through the break. They're going to get to you on the other side. The morning roast is next. That's Joe Shasky, Bonte Hill. Be tuned in. 7:30. Around those times. You guys are going to be giving away some tickets.
I know.
For Game 4, not 3. So Draymond Green will be in the building for Game 4, and we hope Bonte Hill and Joe Shasky will be giving away tickets. Bonte Hill and Joe Shasky will be giving away tickets there. That's Joe Shasky. Morning Roast coming up next. This was the pregame show on 95.7 The Game.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM at HD1 San Francisco.